MSA News is our dietitian at Maribyrnong Sports Academy, Ola Lucsak. G'day, Ola, how are you?
Hi, Tony. I'm really well, thank you. Thanks for having me on board.
And thanks for coming on board. First of all, the question we're asking everyone, how's isolation treating you?
Well, look, I've been keeping well, keeping busy. I've been trying to learn new skills, to be honest. I've been trying to find new ways to entertain myself. So in the first episode of MSA News, I saw Todd doing a fantastic, I think he called it a shoey.
Oh, that was
So I found myself on the living room working on my hip mobility and learning how to do a shoey, learning how to do video conference calls.
Yeah.
But one thing I learned the other day was how to cook okonomiyaki, so a beautiful Japanese pancake. So yeah, keeping myself busy.
Nice, very nice to hear. It's an important time for our kids at the moment, isn't it, Ola? Because we're so out of routine and we're so out of step with what we would normally do that we've really got to retrain our body and our brains to sort of be in this weird life.
Absolutely. I think it's a good opportunity to stop, and we've probably maybe got a little bit more time to reflect on some of the habits that we create in our day-to-day lives and against see whether they're positive habits that are going to benefit us or ones that maybe we need to take a closer look at.
What are some of the things that we should be doing at this point in time in regards to our food habits?
I think when it comes to food, it's really important to keep it simple. So a lot of us know what we should be doing, and I think keeping it simple and looking to include more whole foods in the diet and perhaps reducing some of the processed foods is one of the easiest places to start. Every few years we have a big Australian survey that's completed, and time and time again it shows that we're not doing particularly well when it comes to this. So things like processed foods, highly refined sugars, chocolate, lollies, chips, those things, they can make up to 40% of the Australian diet. So, and they're things that really aren't going to necessarily benefit our health. And then we look at something like vegetables, which we know is going to improve our energy levels and our gut health and our overall well-being. Those things featured in our diet, I think it was 4% for adolescents and 7% for adults. So we're not doing very well in regards to our 5 serves of veggies. So looking to maybe include more whole foods, and hopefully that'll replace some of the treat foods in our diets.
There's been a lot of memes going around of people posting notes on their fridge saying, "You're not hungry, you're just bored. Get away from the fridge." Isn't it? We've all found ourselves in my household doing it, that you find yourself with just a period of time where you've got nothing to do. Oh, go get something out of the fridge and have a snack. It's a real dangerous time, isn't it, to do that?
Absolutely. But I think that creates a great opportunity too. So I've got a hunger fullness scale that I often recommend that people use. And I know that I use this several times in a day. So we'll post it here if we can. And it shows that a lot of the time we're not actually listening to our bodies. So, a lot of the time we're eating for reasons other than being hungry. So that might be boredom, or we're stressed, or we're tired, and food might fill that void for a very small period of time, but then 10 minutes later we're back at the fridge. So if we can listen to our bodies and actually, before grabbing that snack, just check in and say, where am I on this hunger fullness scale? Am I actually hungry? And if you're hungry, great, you should eat. And if you're not hungry, maybe ask yourself, why are you grabbing for food? And if it is that you're bored, it might be that you need to try and find other ways to fill your time.
It's one of those weird things, because you would think that we would eat more when we're active, because obviously we're burning up fuel and our body needs it. But it seems that we actually eat more when we're inactive and we're doing nothing.
It's a very, very common thing, especially with young athletes who are so busy on particular days when they're doing a lot of sport. Very often they're under fueling on those days, and yet on the days where they're resting, they're eating more than their body probably needs. So definitely, I think on the days that we're less active, it's important to listen to our hunger and fullness scale and eat when we're hungry and stop when we're full. And then on the days where we're a lot more active, we might actually need to make an effort to insert more food before and after, potentially during exercise as well.
So if we are going to get stuck into some snacks, what should we ask mum and dad to head out there and get for us that will make sure that we're still eating some sort of healthy food?
Well, I've actually got a few suggestions here. So you can see here, there's a little list that I've come up with. And so this can extend to snacks or our meals. But I think it's really fantastic to find one or two things that you want to focus on, that you want to change in your diet. So rather than trying to change the whole diet and do 100 different things that aren't going to be sustainable, find one or two things on this list that you can work on and see if you can attach them into your existing diet. So for example, one suggestion is, increasing nuts and having those 2 or 3 times in the week. And if you currently don't do that, well, you might say that every time you have oats in the morning or breakfast cereal, you can include those nuts into that breakfast cereal. And then it's kind of locked in. Every time you have cereal, you can have nuts, or it might be some blueberries or something on that. So that might be something that you look to include as a morning tea snack. You might choose nuts, or you might have fruit. And by fruit, we often think, oh yeah, fruit, been there, done that. But we forget about the variety of fruits that are out there. And, at any one time, we've got access to, 20, 30, 40 different fruits, whether it's fresh or dried or frozen fruits that we can access. And there's a whole host of different snacks we can choose from there. Obviously, our yogurt, our milk, even little treat foods like popcorn can give us some nutritional benefits. So having those things handy is really important. But I really strongly suggest that people look at this list and maybe choose one or two things that they can really try and insert into their diet and try and keep it in the diet for the long term.
We've tried to keep things fun in our household, Ola, and one of the ways that we did that was everyone's been responsible for cooking dinner on a day. So it'll be, we just alternate. So it'll be me one night, my wife, and then the boys will have a night each as well. And that's sort of been a great exercise for the fact that they're learning to cook, which they're pretty good cooks anyway, but they're learning to cook, and it adds a bit of fun into the whole process.
I love that you've brought that up, Tony. So this is something that I would strongly encourage. It's such a fantastic time where we have a little bit more time at home to maybe work on some of these things and get your children into the kitchen, because I see so many athletes that they graduate from the MSA program and they go out to traveling, they move interstate or travel overseas, and they can't boil an egg or cook pasta or do anything to be able to fuel their bodies properly. So it's such a great time to, again, it might be once a week, you spend some time in the kitchen together and actually teach some of those skills that are going to really help, keep our young kids, to grow into healthier adults, because they can actually fuel their bodies really well.
We've been talking about food, Ola, but obviously hydration is still very much an important part of what an athlete does, and probably even more so in this period, is it?
Look, I think it's more so, perhaps, I think it's just as important as ever, but I think this is an opportunity where, again, we have time to maybe build in some new habits. And I've got my drink bottle right here, but this is probably the most important thing that we need to do. Make sure that we've got water with us. So I do a lot of hydration testing with our MSA athletes, and about 70% of the athletes are dehydrated when I test them. And I find that athletes are quite good at drinking at training, so we do that quite well. But what we don't do is replace the fluids that we're losing every day, even when we're not training. So every day we have to lose fluid by going to the toilet. We have to lose fluid through our breathing. So we're losing a couple of these bottles of water every day, and we need to make sure we're trying to replace them if we want to have optimal energy, and if we want to be able to concentrate well, water is going to really help us sustain those really important critical processes in our body.
And for us mums and dads, we might not want to drink so much water, but is it okay to have a cup of tea as a replacement for water?
Absolutely. Look, I think water should be the main choice most of the time, but including other beverages, tea is going to be, fantastic. You might choose to have 1 or 2 cups of tea, and then have, say a bottle of water, or a little bit more than a bottle of water throughout the day. But absolutely, you can mix it up a little bit, but I think choosing water as your main beverage most of the time is still a good, or your best option.
Now, not everyone who's at Maribyrnong Sports Academy at the moment may have seen some TV series that we did last year. We did 2 episodes, and we'll be looking to do more, hopefully, throughout the year. Ola's Kitchen. What a lot of fun that was. And I reckon, with your permission, we might just play an episode after this just to show everyone exactly what it was about.
Oh, that sounds great. Absolutely. And I definitely look forward to filming a few little episodes, and just little things that we can be including in the diet. And again, making small changes to continually help build the foundations of a good diet.
Anything else you'd like to tell us, Ola, in regards to our diet over this time?
I think we've covered it all, Tony. I think if you can work on 1 or 2 things in the diet and really attach things into your diet over the next, start now, over the next week would be fantastic. And then get into the kitchen, see if you can maybe learn how to cook 1 new recipe, or learn how to do 1 new thing in the kitchen that's going to help you for the long term.
All right, well, here's the fantastic recipe on Ola's Kitchen, which is about to come up. Thank you, Ola, for joining us. Really do appreciate your time today.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Tony, and stay well, everyone. I look forward to seeing you back at the Sports Academy soon.
Now let's head into Ola's Kitchen.
Hi everyone, I'm Ola and I'm the dietitian at Maribyrnong Sports Academy. Welcome to Ola's Kitchen. Now, are you an athlete that struggles to eat before early morning training? If so, you're definitely not alone. A lot of athletes face this issue. Now, it's important that you do eat something before early morning training, because we want to boost up your energy levels, and also it's important for concentration so you can remain focused throughout a training session. You might have to start with something small, maybe a piece of fruit, maybe a crumpet. It could be Milo milk, or a Belvita biscuit, or perhaps it's just a slice of toast with some jam or honey. Now, the key is to have something with carbohydrate and something that's going to be light and easy for you to digest. Now, it can take practice for you to learn how to eat before training. So try and eat as soon as you wake up, so you give yourself plenty of time for that food to digest. And you might just start with 3 small bites. Okay, so starting with a small amount and then building up from there. Now, I've also found this great recipe that I want you to try. It's a banana oat recipe, so here it is. So I hope you enjoyed that recipe. Now, you can actually take out the milk and add an egg, and that makes like a nice little banana muffin. I think you'll enjoy it. So start practicing eating before training today, and you'll notice your energy levels, concentration levels, and your performance start to go up. All the best. Happy fueling.